So is that game about the Patriots or is that game about the Jets?
What does it matter?
Jets. 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 Jets, 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 Jets. And let me just say this, because we're far more interested in the Patriots here, and rightfully so. I'm not telling you shouldn't be. And I'll say that under the circumstances with what had happened the prior week, Mayo calling out the team, everything that went along with that, the Patriots came out and I would say generally played hard for 60 minutes, and they fought and they hung in there, put themselves in a position to have a chance, which they haven't been doing of late, and they won themselves a game. They deserve credit for that. I don't mean that. In the same breath, I will tell you the story is way bigger on the other side about how freaking inept the Jets are across the board. Across the board. So I happen to think if nationally, if I were watching that, my focus would be on the Jets and the demise of the Jets. Until the Patriots, from our standpoint, until the Patriots can repeat it and show me that they've really turned a corner and that they're starting to build something, I have a hard time getting too geeked up about one Sunday in which the opponent threw up on itself.
It's a little bit of column A. It's a little bit of column B. You have to say the Jets are complicit because when your suck kicker, who should be out of the league, and Greg Zuerlein is missing easy extra points and easy field goals, well, they're complicit. They're part of it, so it is about the Jets. But the Patriots didn't fold, and I thought they were going to, especially the way that they handled the end of the first half, getting the ball at the 20 with 1:51 remaining and basically just waving a white flag once Brissett's in there. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, they're going to get blown out, and this thing's just going to continue to devolve, and guys are going to start to get fired. They continued to fight. I didn't think that they had it in them. They're certainly not as talented as the Jets, so I got to give them credit there.
All right, so it's mostly about the Jets. Who cares? Like, what's it if?
Yeah, right. A win's a win at this point. My God.
I mean, don't you think the Pats are in that territory? I think every week the game is more about the opponent.
Sure.
Just about. I mean, anytime you have a team, you're facing a team that has any kind of stakes, it's about them and it's not about you. It's like that's been that way the entire season, frankly.
Correct.
I mean, really.
I'm just talking about the singular game in terms of did one team win it or did the other team lose it?
The other team lost it, so what?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's important when I say so what. I mean to dismiss your take, Anthony. I mean, for the Patriots standpoint, collect these wins.
Of course.
Right? I was sort of, I think we all were concerned that they wouldn't be able to collect the wins that the opponents gave them, which should have been the bare bone expectation for the team this year. That you just played to a certain level and the opponents that were willing to give you the games you took. And that would lead to a middling record and a sort of baseline to jump off of for next year. That was my goal. And so you got one of those yesterday. That's a good thing. That's a good result. That's what I think.
Yeah, look, they need every win they can get. I'm not telling you they shouldn't take it or they should give it back. I'm just telling you that, again, it doesn't change my opinion of the Patriots, is all I'm getting at. And so now I'll tell you there are a couple of areas that I'm starting to see a little bit of a change in the team that I'm starting to feel better about. And I say better about, like, long-term, I don't know, we'll see. But in the last 2 weeks, the offensive line has not been a disaster. Can I say it that way? Mm-hmm. That they have been semi-functional, if not
sort
functional.
Sort of solid.
Yeah, like decent. Feels like decent play. Just remember the last time they played the Jets. The Jets blitzed and the Patriots didn't know what to do. They had no idea. They couldn't handle it. The Jets would send 5-6 guys. The Patriots didn't know who they had to pick up. And Jacoby Brissett was getting killed. They scored 3 points that night. They were lucky to get 3. Now, I would love to know the comparison in blitz numbers for the Jets in this game versus the last game. But nonetheless, all in all, the Patriots have done a better job of protecting the quarterback.
Okay, it should change your opinion a little bit in that, up until Sunday at 4 o'clock, didn't we think 1-16 was
yes.
on the table?
Yes.
And having that kind of record and that kind of season?
Yes. I looked at the Jacksonville game in London as the tipping point. If they couldn't get that win with the way the Jags were going into that game and the way that thing ended up looking, I didn't think they're going to win a game the rest of the year.
And for me, I think that distinction is important. I think climbing back, just clawing your way to what you were last year, 4 wins. Can you get to 5? Is an important distinction from the 1-16, 2-15 kind of team that it felt like you were. I think that's important. And we've done the research. I'll give you a clearer presentation if you want it, but you can do it yourself. I know a lot of listeners have done it. People that look at the teams that are 0, 1, or 2 wins and what it takes for them to claw out of that and climb out of that. And I don't know what the reason is. I mean, what should practically be the difference between 2 and 4 wins? I don't know. But there is. Look at the teams that are the 0, 1, and 2 win teams versus the teams that can just start to get into the 4. It's a big difference in terms of how long it takes you to get out of it, what you become the next year, what becomes of those coaching staffs, et cetera, et cetera. There's a difference. And so I think it's important that the Patriots get out of there. I think it's within their grasp to get out of there. It's obviously within their grasp to get out of there. And if you don't think that it is, you're just making excuses for the team, which is like disappointing. It's fallen that far that people are okay with them being 1-16 or 2-15, or what did you expect? Like, it's just kind of dumb. Or you're just trying to make excuses for the team in one way, shape, or form. 4 or 5 wins are within their grasp. And just because you're going to get into games like this where the opponent wants to give it to you, and you got to take a certain amount of them if you're a functional, real team. So just be a functional, real team and get to that point. Like, that's just my spiel on that. And I thought we'd have 1 or 2 more of those so far this year. They were certainly within your grasp, but however you get there is however you get there. So I think it was important. I think it's important for Mayo. Even though I would say to you, Mazz, and well, I'll ask it as a question. Did the team respond to Jerod Mayo?
Well enough.
Ish.
Well, this is how I would put it. They didn't bail on him.
Yes.
Which I think we thought was a possibility.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we all sort of thought like, Mayo just went to war with his team and his team's about to quit on him because he just called him out. And, well, who is Jerod Mayo and his staff to call out anybody? They kind of suck, meaning the coaching staff. So it would have been very easy for the players to look at Jerod Mayo and go, dude, you're clueless, And we kind of thought a lot of people didn't know which way that was going to go. If the team had just quit on him, I think none of us would have been surprised. They didn't quit. Now, did they? Now, if you're trying to present the other thing, like they ran through a brick wall for him and responded and that thing, like, come on.
Little strong.
Did you watch the game? But at least they didn't quit on him.
Yeah, right.
Which I think is important.
No, this is why I said I felt like they competed for the full game. So now, again, they still have their shortcomings, but they didn't give up. They weren't like all over the place. I don't even know how many penalties they finished with, but it wasn't like they failed to line up at times.
No, I think the penalties were, frankly, unlucky. They were ticky-tack, some of those PI calls.
Yeah, interference in the secondary.
Those PI calls they got, I thought were, mostly bad calls.
So, and I felt similarly. So I would say overall, and again, they tackled when they had to tackle. Like, it was basics, basic stuff.
There wasn't finger pointing, even though the wide receivers,
Right.
those stone-handed morons, weren't making like big histrionics on the field and doing that whole thing that you've seen before in losses like San Francisco. No, they didn't quit on him. That's the good way to put it. But that they fought for him. They still gave up a late fourth quarter touchdown drive to the Jets and gave up 100 yards on the ground. So, calm down a little bit with this. It's a little out of control.
So there are a couple of things that I feel like the description or the narrative doesn't totally match what happened.
Right.
They stopped the run. No, they just didn't get run over.
Right.
Is what happened. They didn't exactly stop the run, but they didn't give up 180 yards rushing. Okay, that's number one. Number two, they didn't exactly run the ball all that well.
They ran it for crap.
25 carries for 54 yards with anyone who wasn't a quarterback.
Right. Take out Drake Mays. Yeah, right. Take out both because Brissett had a big scramble late too. Take out the quarterback scrambles. They ran for 2 yards a carry. You just said it.
Yep,
Yeah.
2.2 yards per carry. And if you take out the scrambles, they had 190 yards of offense. They didn't pass either. Okay, now again, some of that was the receivers not being able to catch the ball, which was the most dysfunctional thing that was happening to them all day yesterday. They couldn't catch the effing ball. But I didn't see quit.
Hey.
I didn't see failing to have your head in the game. I just saw some lack of talent. I think some of the drops are a lack of talent.
They still suck. Is anyone trying to pretend they don't suck?
No, I don't think
not.
it's that. But I think they fought for their coach is a bit much.
A little much. They didn't quit on their coach.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Okay, which is important. Start there.
Yeah.
Because they easily could have. and a lot of people thought they would have. They didn't quit on their coach. Oh, they still suck. And I still don't believe in the coach. But I also believe the coach isn't going anywhere. He's getting at least 2 years. And I do not believe in losing to win, losing as a ways of getting better or to get what you want. I think that is dangerous, dangerous territory. So I do not believe in losing so Jerod Mayo loses his job sooner than later. I do not believe in losing to get a higher draft pick. I think if you believe in those things, you're an idiot. You just don't get it, or you're a kid, or you like college football and you think that really matters. You know, like I don't get you. I think you got to. I think it's just kind of stupid to think that, the quicker we lose, the sooner he loses his job and we can move on from him. Or if they lose a lot, the owner will sell the team. If they lose, we'll get a higher pick. Like, okay, congratulations. You're now the Jets. If you believe that. It doesn't work that way. So, Mayo's not going to lose his job. You're drafting a tackle, so you don't need the first pick to draft your tackle. Your pick's going to be good. No one is pretending like the team's suddenly good and they're going to play their way to the bottom of the first round or anything. You are easily going to have a top 10 pick, easily a top 5 pick. I mean, what am I saying? So don't worry about it. Drafting fourth is plenty good to get your effing tackle, or even to move down if you want and take your tag. Don't worry about that, kids. Your stupid draft board. Worry about your team. And being in 0-1 or 2-win territory is bozo territory that takes a long time to get out of. And you want no part of it. And the team wasn't ready for that. Apparently, good. That's all good. But they still suck. I mean, it's obviously true. The team was playing soft. Do you think that he deserves credit for motivating them by calling them out?
No. To me, that type of stuff should not, it shouldn't become public. And when I say public, you know what I mean? It can become public if someone leaks it out or whatever. Like, I'm all for, but if you're running your thing the right way, you're saying it to their face and you're not saying it to the media, is what I'm getting at. So did he, in other words, he can get on them and motivate them behind the scenes without making a public spectacle of it.
So I don't give him credit for pushing the button because, well, he took it back the next day.
You don't think it was deliberate, right?
Or
right.
It wasn't like a tactical, with forethought, I'm going to do this to call him out to get this result, and I'm standing by it, and I'm going to, take him to account publicly to get a result. Because he backtracked the next day and regretted doing it, if you listen to people that talk to him. So I think it was another comment that got away from him. Now, it didn't end up hurting him because he still has the room, or enough of the room for it to be a functional, situation. So I'm not going to give him full credit for master motivator, because I don't think he really meant to do it the way it came off. And I know that because he took it back. But be that as it may, his relationship with the locker room is such that he can make the mistake and it's okay, which is, I think, a good sign.
Sure, definitely.
Okay. So anyway, your thoughts.
Like you said, he didn't lose them.
He didn't lose them, and he could have. He easily could have. He didn't lose them. Tom and Newton, lead us off.
Yeah, hey, fellas, yesterday's game was a Felger and Mazz moral loss. I mean, all they did yesterday was get the only thing of value in the entire Patriots corporation, which is Drake May, because beyond him, you should just go into Gillette and start stripping the copper out of the walls at this point. Injured. I mean, you don't want to see that. And they hurt their draft capital, not by a ton, but I mean, look, they suck. They're two dumb teams. I don't feel like anything's getting better here, and I just don't know what else you extrapolate from that. I'll hang up and listen.
I disagree with everything you just said.
For the first time ever, I don't care about losing to improve your draft capital. You have the quarterback. That's the important thing. Wins are important now. You are trying to build a culture. You're trying to find out if Jerod Mayo can coach. So what's the difference between the 7th or 10th pick at this point? And odds are you're probably going to trade out of it and get more capital anyway.
I do not think it was a moral loss or a moral win, whatever you're trying to say there. I think it was desperately needed. And a positive sign that the team didn't quit. So I just totally disagree with that.
If you like that clip, check out more videos from Felger and Mazz here. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. And for all the latest from the Sports Hub, download the app at 985thesportshub.com.